What advice would you give somebody who wants to tell their story or write a book or publish their like a book? Like if they're like, hey, Tigest, where do I start? What do I do? What would you like tell them?
I would say first, really ask yourself if you're ready, and if you already be prepared for the feelings that you're going to feel. Not after, but during the process. And that's within anything, you know. I would also say to make sure you really take your time. And don't beat yourself up. You know, I really had to apologize to myself. Like, damn, you did this to yourself. It's okay, girl. It's okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, I really, that's what I would say. And that don't be scared. And that's your story. You could say whatever you want to say. You want to cuss? I wanted to cuss so bad. The editor told me, nah. She's like, you can't say that. And I was like, yes, I can. It's my book.
Yeah. Yo, what up? It's your boy Rubino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp Podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know. Just listen.
Yes. Welcome.
What it do?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuning to the UpNUp Podcast on the UpNUp Network. I'm your host, Rubino.
And I'm DJ How
you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm good, man. You know me, man. Grateful, right? What's my attitude?
Gratitude?
Come on, man. Come on. Everybody know that, right? Definitely, man. Definitely, man. Blessed, you know. Grateful to be here, man. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. And if this is your first time tuning in, as I stated, this is the UpNUp Podcast. This is the podcast where we're focused on cultivating culture, right? We do that by providing amazing stories of individuals, groups, right? Movements, people who are taking up space, right?
Yes,
in various different industries, making a way for themselves. Those of us who are here, as well as those coming from behind, right? The next generation, right?
Yep.
I definitely want to make sure we're shouting out the family members, right? We always got to show love to the family, man, right? The consistent listeners, viewers, supporters, right?
Yep.
It is what it is, right? It is what it was. Yeah, man. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for the support. We appreciate you. We love you. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the family, right? I'm feeling good, man. Sun's out. Right, the guns out. You got the guns out,
man,
right?
Hopefully,
you just got a compliment earlier about how buff you were, right?
Yeah, I know, man.
You know, okay. But man, staying on the topic of strength, right? Since we're talking about how buff you are, right?
Yeah.
Our strong point here at the show is obviously storytelling, right?
Yep.
And we always want to make sure we're providing our audience with a story that's going to uplift us, inspire us, motivate us to get to the next day, the next move, right? The next play. And today's guest, I would say, is someone who I would say has a passion for uplifting and pouring back into her community. And she's doing so in an honest and truthful way, right? She's definitely a true culture cultivator, right? Who's keeping everything she's doing on the up and up. A little bit of insight on the work she's been involved in. She's a professional who spent a lot of time in the wellness and counseling space, helping guide women and young girls in their pursuit to bettering themselves, right? And most recently, she's actually been a participant and mentor in what's known as the Community Wellness Circles, which is a program powered by the Seattle Cares Group and King County as well. And they focus on assisting parents, especially mothers and female caregivers, right? And just helping them and guiding them through that process. And in addition to that, on top of that, right, in the many ways she's pouring in and been providing, she is also an author, right? Of newly published and released book, Love, Sex, and Sorrow, which is available on Amazon Books for your reading pleasure. You know, like I said, there's just so many ways in which she's being truthful and honest and being able to pour into her community, and we're excited to connect, learn more about the journey, right, that she's been on and she's continuously building on. Without further ado, man, let's just get straight to it. Our guest is none other than the one and only Tigest Beyene. Can we get a round of applause?
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. A little nervous, but okay.
Nervous?
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, we gonna get them nerves out of here, man.
That's cool. I'm still nervous too.
Yeah, man. How you feeling? How's the day going? You feeling good?
It's going good. Work, usual day. Gotta keep going, so
yeah,
can't stop.
I feel that. Can't stop, won't stop.
That's
actually one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop.
One day, bro. One day. Don't worry.
Speaking of quotes, I'm sure you're familiar. We always start every episode with a quote of the day. So I'm gonna let Erm take that away. For those who don't know, I don't tell quotes up here. They don't let me.
It's cool.
I sneak some in.
Can't stop, won't stop, bro. One day, don't worry, I got you.
What you got for us, man?
So the quote of the day today is, I don't define myself by my successes. I define myself by adversity and how I persevere. Yeah.
Who's that quote by?
Shaquem Griffin. They used to play for the Seahawks.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Hell yeah. I like that.
You know.
Can you run that back one more time?
I got you. I knew you.
Usually I let him sit, but I want. Can you run that back? I want
So the quote is, I don't define myself by my successes. I define myself by adversity and how I persevered. Yeah.
That's real.
Yep.
That's real. That's a real one right there.
Yeah.
Now Tigist, obviously we focus on the journey, right? And talking about people's journeys. But before we do that, and we're gonna get into the book in which you just released, but I do kind of wanted to open up in terms of giving you a chance to shed light on your perspective with the book Love, Sex, and Sorrow. From your perspective, what can you say people can expect from this book? Like what can they expect to like get out of it, or I don't know, how would you want them to take that in?
Well, I would say that you will definitely get a piece of my mind and how I kind of navigated through life a little bit, especially, growing up African, in Seattle. I mentioned certain spots in there, like where we all used to hang out, grew up, and just understanding the culture. You also will see the people I run into, as in different men. And there's a lot of mystery to each story. That's why I kept things pretty short, so you can always want to know more, because there will be like a volume 2 to describe each of these men that I was involved with. And kind of going deeper of exactly what all happened afterwards, because they all are connected after.
Yeah, I love it.
For sure.
You don't want to give them too much, right?
And there's new people.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
So you did talk about growing up in Seattle. I just wanted you to kind of touch on your upbringing, how you grew up. What was it like?
We grew up in the Vistas. I mean, everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, it was a small little community. Before now, what it looks like. So that's okay though. And it was okay. I think we kind of had to adapt to the culture. To the African American culture, even though we're African, but the African American culture, we had to adapt to it. Getting asked, so where are you from?
Yeah.
And why do you smell like onions?
Or
why is this? And then even interacting with, going in high school and stuff like that, so it was okay. I mean, like I said, I think everybody kind of grew up together.
Yeah.
So we kind of had that respect, that's why I say everybody's their cousin.
Yeah. It's like a small city. Yeah.
Definitely.
No, I definitely feel like that. And I feel like, as we get older, we look back on our upbringings and people we may have encountered, friends that we may have hung out with, things of that nature. And I think everything plays a role. But for you, do you have, can you look back and look at, maybe some pivotal influences that you had that may have helped you just keep pushing without knowing in the moment, but when you look back, you're like, yo, that person or maybe that family member, is there something like that for you?
Yeah, I would say I had I had a teacher in high school. I went to Franklin. Her name was, she'd probably go by Miss States now, but at the time it was Miss Hanusa. And she was one bad white lady I knew. She was like, okay, if you guys can have one high day in my class. I know everybody's going to try this drug. Or, she was just open, but she understood the culture. And she wanted us to, not give up on applying to college. Because she was, she grew up not with a lot of money, but she was like, I applied for financial aid, I applied for scholarships. So she would literally have meetings and try to set up with our family members to apply for financial aid and be like, this is what it is. This is what it is. And then,
that's dope.
Yeah, it was, and to see somebody not of color to kind of help these kids, you know?
Yeah. Being hands-on.
Yeah.
I
not
think
just talking about it.
Yeah. 'Cause I think especially I definitely have someone like that too, in high school. And it was a older white male and he's just was super hands-on with yo, okay, I know you can do this, but you have to do this, this, and this. And, it's simple execution, but it's, sometimes it takes someone, reaching their hand out and saying, let me help you with this. So,
yeah, definitely. So, what were you interested in growing up?
Nothing much. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It all came later.
It all came a little
It all
later.
came later.
But
yeah.
I did like so I like to read, but I didn't like to read like long history stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to read like real life or fantasy book, like when I mentioned the whole Coldest Winter Ever or the whole like just like little books like that, like some real things that that was probably the first book I ever finished. Now that I think about it, it was in health class. Yeah. Yeah, and that's when I knew, oh, okay, like the whole Sister Soldier and all that stuff. I knew, okay, that's what I like.
Yeah.
But then as I got older and actually have to pay, like, hold on, let me actually be realistic here on some things. I wanted to know more about like history, not just our African history, because our parents already like put that in us every day. But I wanted to know African American history and even the Asian culture. I was curious about that a lot. I noticed that.
I think reading and what you read are two different things, right? Like people talk about I read. I'm like, but what are you reading? I think that's the most important thing. And I think for a lot of us, I mean, me personally, like I wasn't a reader either. Like I read, but I went looking for stuff that I wanted to read. And it took some time for me to realize that there's actually really good books but I had to be intentional about what I'm reading. That's good.
Yeah.
No, I feel you, bro. Because like even the stuff that I like to read, I'll read it more than once.
Yeah.
Like I'll read it over and over.
Yeah.
Over, and then there's just certain things I'm like, man.
Yeah, they serve their purpose. You got to revisit. You got to revisit those. Now I do kind of want to touch on. We touched on earlier, but you worked and work in kind of the counseling and wellness space, right? I know you were a guidance counselor and you played that role. But I'm curious, prior to getting into like that field, was there something that pushed you to say, "Yo, okay, I'm confident enough to be able to try to guide other people"? Before you jumped into that.
Honestly, no. If I'm being real, so I work also in healthcare. Okay. So a lot of I do a lot of training, teach them a lot of things and stuff like that. So a lot of them, they felt that they were comfortable around me, and I noticed a lot of the people. Cause I'm an introvert. I'm also an extrovert. I'm like 50-50. I like to be alone, But then I also like I don't mind being out there, but I will go home. So like I will go home, right? So I think I picked up like, oh, okay, people are comfortable, and I could talk to anybody. One of my sisters always tell me, Tish, she'd be like, you could talk to a rock. And that rock won't talk to you, because I'm just very, So I think that's when I knew. And then when I got into the wellness program, it actually was now that whole, they say circle in life. So I actually was applying for my oldest to get into a private school. Okay. And, in private schools, you have to do these the parents have to do interviews. Yeah. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I'm doing this interview, and, it's a black counselor dude, hella dope though. And he was like, oh yeah, my daughter's your age, and just going on. He then was like, man, you should try this women's wellness group. Okay. I think you'll be great, but you have to be invited. You have to know somebody to get in this group. And it's all black women. Yeah. So I was like, okay, whatever. Emails me. He's like, did you get contacted? I was like, no. Hits up the dude again, and then he hits me up and was like, hey, they want to invite you to one of the meetings. And I was blown away since then. These women are sick. They are sick. Like damn. I was like the stuff they've been through and how they're just like wash their hands. Yeah. And then they go into like Denny Middle School and different middle schools, and they bring in these African American girls and boys. They have men too, and to uplift them and stuff. And I actually got interviewed in December for a gala at Lexington Hughes about our program. Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. And that's when I knew, oh, okay. And then they approached me like, hey, we kind of want you to be one of our leaders. And mentor and get these ladies on our calls. So wow. We do a virtual Zoom once a week. Wow. No, that's powerful. Yeah. And you also worked as a guidance counselor too, right? Yeah, I did it with them. Okay. So they got me like a little test run to see, and I was like, I can't teach this kid nothing. Okay. But they didn't give me a kid. They gave me like a 23-year-old girl. Yeah. And I'm like, what am I gonna tell her? Yeah. Yeah. And then I realized I literally saw me and her. I was like, oh, you talk just like me, or she thinks like how I would.
Yeah, and that's actually something I was curious about, is like being, and you're a mother as well, and it's like being in a position where you're people's go-to person, while still balancing your own personal growth and development. Like, do you have advice and tips for maybe other women or mothers who are going through that, or currently in that space where that, you know, like you're someone's go-to, but then you're like, wait, I need to find my go-to, or I need to figure out a balance for that.
Yeah, I still learn that every day, though. I still try to. And what I have been doing lately is to set aside my time for myself. Sometimes I won't hang out with the girls, you know, or I won't go out. Sometimes I will just be alone in the house, watch a movie, and just chill, and really just like have my time to myself. And then I also, what I think is important for women and men who are single fathers, because there's a whole lot out I did not know, set boundaries. And I had to set boundaries like, no, this is not going to be happening, and this is what I'm going to be doing for myself.
Got you. Yeah. That's important.
Yeah. So what's like your approach to like when you're first like assign somebody to like be a counselor to?
So I actually was in a class about it, and then like we had to like hook up the counselors with the kids, like who would be fit, you know. So we obviously do a thorough background check, and it's kind of like their energy, like how they will like, you know, like mush together, but not in. Sometimes it'll be opposite kids, like it'll be like a Rastafari dad, a male figure with like a nerdy kid who's like this, but then they actually teach each other
a lot of things.
It's dope. It's kind of amazing. And then I think for me, it was kind of like, I told you, my first pet was a grown girl, and I was like, how am I, but it actually helped me, because she might be that age, but she was stuck still inside of like a teenager, what she was going through.
It's real work. You really gotta connect, right, to understand. And I think, like you said, it's not surface level. It's not what someone looks like on the outside. It's what they're dealing with on the inside, and what they're thinking, right?
Yeah.
That's big, man. That's dope. And I just commend people who are in those positions, because it's a lot. You know, you're taking on a lot, and especially from person to person, everybody's different, right? So that's dope. Now I did want to get into Love, Sex, and Sorrow, right? The book, right? First off, I read it. I loved it. It's a great read. Definitely kept me on the edge of my seat. But I did kind of want to get into the process of like saying, okay, it's time to write this book.
Yeah.
Right? Because from me reading it, it seems like you've been writing this book for a long time without even knowing you were writing it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I guess, what was that process like to fully commit and say, okay, I want to be an author now? Like, what was that like? Or how did that happen?
So I had this, it actually started as a therapy session.
Okay.
So after my whole incident, the whole incident happened, the doctor's like, you need to go to therapy, postpartum, well, like PTSD, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, whatever. Because, you know, I went to work after 1 week.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And I still had, you know, stuff, badge or whatever they were doing to me.
Yeah, so you're referring to the incident in terms of,
so,
if you can explain a little bit.
Yeah, so I was shot 8 years ago. And after I was shot, I was engaged to this particular person, and you know, things escalated, and was shot. Can't really say a lot due to, like, you know, he's still not available. Sure. Yeah. But that's why it's in the book. So anyway.
No, for sure.
So I started off as writing it as a therapy, and I always just had it in my laptop. And then I wanted to actually write something about it, so I was ready. This was 8 years ago, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna write me a book, and I start getting all this stuff pieces together, but I knew mentally I wasn't ready. And then had my second kid, keep going. I saw a life coach, and it was the same person who I saw was for my therapist. And therapy is very important, by the way.
Yes.
It's 100%. She changed from therapist to a life coach. So she kind of was guiding me about what's my next chapter going to look like. Really. And having another black woman talking to me about it.
It's powerful.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I had it in my laptop, and she was like, have you been writing? I was like, yeah, I've been writing. And she's like, what'd you write about? I was like, I just wrote a story about what happened. And she was just like, okay, so you should put it out there. And I was like, whatever. And she's also a Christian woman. So she was like, well, you should pray about it. She made me like do homework, reading all this Bible scriptures, doing homework and stuff. I was like, the hell, this lady, goddamn, I'm paying you how much?
I'm paying you to give me assignments.
You're going to tell me to do homework when I get home?
Yeah.
So, but you know what? I had to learn about praying for other people in order for me to do this assignment.
Yeah.
So my good girlfriend wrote a children's book, and she was like, T, you should write. My homeboy is dropping me off one day, and he goes, man, you've been through so much stuff. You should write a book. And I was like, oh, goddamn. It's like, you know.
Keeps reoccurring.
Keep on for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I get something like a little TikTok. I didn't have TikTok at the time. I was like, what the hell is this? And he's showing me about how this girl did this book. And then I didn't sleep one time for 3 days. I keep waking up at 2:30 in the morning, and all my dreams was like pages. It was like something flipping.
Wow.
For like 3, and I would wake up, and my supervisor at the time, he was a pastor. I said, yo, I can't sleep. I need to go home early.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to just finish this story. And it took me a few months, though. And I kept on going. Finally got it done. I reached out to somebody who I thought who could help. He did my cover for me.
Okay.
Didn't really feel the vibe of the publishing. I don't know why. You know, when energy is everything, right? So then I contacted someone else who I know who wrote poetry and got 3 publishing books. So I was like, hey, do you know any good? They're like, you know what? You should promote or ask them to read your manuscript. So they said, okay, we're going to read it. If we approve it, we'll let you know in 3 to 5 days. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. 3 hours later, I get a phone call. Don't even know this number. I was like, I don't answer numbers. I don't.
I'm the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
I get a voicemail. Please call me. This is Life Chronicles Publishing. I was like, all right. Hit her up. She's like, hey, we love it. And it's another black woman publishing company.
Yeah.
And so she was like, we want to take it on. And I was like, okay.
Yo, that's there's a lot of alignment that just what you're saying, like the way things are occurring in a way they're occurring, you know, and the people, like, I feel like the universe always sends us signs, right? People telling you things. We were just talking about this before the show, how sometimes people will mention or suggest things to you, and you're kind of like, you brush it off because you don't think they're intentional about what they're saying sometimes because they're just saying it. But there's a reason for it. That's dope.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what was because I'm kind of curious too, like, what's the role of like a publisher when you want to publish a book? Like, I mean, I know it's kind of self-explanatory, like they're gonna publish your book, but like what is their role pretty much?
So she pretty much guided me. So there was an editor there, and she accepted the manuscript. They have to read it first to like, okay, we want to take it on or not, or if they have to do some add on to it. So then she connected me with the editor, and then it was about like 45 days of just them working on it and trying. And then there's a contract. So they have with Amazon and then their own company that you could buy it through too. And then Barnes and Nobles, they got their contract, and they wanted my book on there. So now it's going to be on Barnes and Nobles. Okay. So they had, crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's good information too, because nowadays I think it's a lot easier than people may think it is, right? And there's a lot more resources. So, yeah, definitely. I think that's important. I'm curious though, because when writing something that's very personal, right? I feel like sometimes when you're telling your own personal, unique story, like, were you consciously also looking for ways to tell maybe other women's stories in the process, or was it just like, let me just get my shit out there, and that's it? Or I guess, how do you see that?
Yeah, I just wanted to get my voice out there because the second one, it's more in depth with different people in it. Okay. But I had to change names. And rearrange certain people. So but a lot of people who know me already know who the people. So I got a lot of messages. Talking about, so you don't want to say my name? You want to call me this?
You're like, thanks for reading it. Yeah, that's all you got to say.
Though, that's all that matters.
So you read it, good.
So that's how I knew, like, you know, so I was very cautious though. Yeah. Because the certain people in there have their own certain stories
Yeah.
with what happened.
Yeah.
So I just like, let me respect it.
Yeah.
But you know, if second one comes out, it's all gonna tie together.
Yeah, and also
That's
like
dope.
kind of what I meant by that question too was also like your story can be someone else's story.
Yeah.
That's what also too,
Yeah.
because I think, you know, you telling your story, you don't know, but you may be telling someone else's story that probably couldn't do what you just did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have you felt that, or have you got feedback?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. In my women's group, one of the ladies was like, I wish I could say what I could say because she was scared.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it's a process. And when you're ready, and you'll know. You know, you'll feel it.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, it's your intuition.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah, even under like, I feel like even under like different circumstances, like people that just want to tell their story no matter what it is, it could be completely different from your story, but the fact that you put yours out there, somebody might be like, yep,
Yeah.
kind of want to tell mine too, you know?
Yeah,
And
it's
then-
powerful, man. And I mean, there's power in stories. I mean, that our platform is literally built on that storytelling, right?
Yeah.
But what I realized is you have to fully own them. You have to own your story before you can put it out there. And it felt like you know, reading the book. You know, I'm not gonna give nothing away, but it just felt like you were very much in control of your narrative and your story, which is good to read and good to hear.
Yeah, I felt more comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I used to get asked a lot, or you know, when you're in the community, everybody knows everybody. It's kind of like, you know, they whisper, and all that, or you know, how was your mom's?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, you know, so now I'm just kind of like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was on the newspaper, so
Yeah,
it's
no,
okay now.
definitely.
I feel you.
And
Kind of got to get over it, you know.
yeah, and one of my biggest takeaways from the book, I would say, is we can't control who we're gonna encounter in life. Like that's just, you know, can't control, but you can control who you let in. And that was like one of the biggest reminders that I got from that book for sure. So yeah, I definitely encourage people to go out there and read it. Definitely, it's a good read.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. That's why each chapter had little quotes in it. You know, to kind of remember certain things.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So, what advice would you give somebody who wants to tell their story or write a book or publish their like a book? Like if they're like, "Hey, Tigest, where do I start? What do I do?" What would you like tell them?
I would say first, really ask yourself if you're ready, and if you are ready, be prepared for the feelings that you're going to feel. Not after, but during the process, and that's within anything, you know. I would also say to make sure you really take your time. And don't beat yourself up. You know, I really had to apologize to myself. Like, damn, you did this to yourself. It's okay, girl. It's okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, I really, that's what I would say. And that don't be scared. And that's your story. You can say whatever you want to say. You want to cuss? I wanted to cuss so bad. The editor told me, nah. She's like, you can't say that. And I was like, yes, I can. It's my book. And she was like, no. I was like, and she wanted me to take out, you know, that saying for a white boy that I have. She was like, once you say, nah, he a white boy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So it's like, make sure you say what you want to say.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, who cares? Go to the next.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, go to the next.
Yeah.
Somebody going to pick it up.
No, I felt that. I felt when I was reading it, I felt that. I was like, speaking of white boy, I was like, oh, yeah. I like, because it's like you don't want to put limitations on your creativity, because sometimes it's like you can be creative. Being truthful and being honest is a form of being creative sometimes. Like, you don't even have to try to be creative. If you're just honest, you know, in a world that's full of fake shit, like you're gonna come off as creative anyway. You know, so I agree with that.
And be ready for like the any negativity coming.
Backlash.
Just be ready. You know, I got right when it was saying I was coming out, I got hit up quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready though.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you don't know how people are going to respond to your work, you know, and I think all creatives can relate to that. Sometimes it's not about them. It's about me getting this out and putting it out and letting it live. So
Definitely.
That's good.
And I know you touched on it, and you were talking about, like, during the process, like, the feelings that you'll feel when you're writing a book. Like, were there times where you're just like, nah, maybe I shouldn't put this book out, or like, I don't know, like times of like doubt where you like had to kind of like, like, nah, it's cool, let me just do it? and like, or like, how did you like navigate through that?
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God, yeah. There's a lot I wanted to say, especially with family. But I was like, nah. Let me eliminate this. That's why I didn't mention none of their names. Yeah. You know, even though people might know them, but not everybody. So, and even certain things that happened with certain people. And there were certain even characters I didn't put in that I erased, but now I'm going to put in. Like, that I was terrified. I was like, oh, man, I don't know if I should talk about this one right here. But I was like, no. But other, like, telling the story of how I felt, what happened, that I was like, I will not budge on that. So everything from shooting, every little detail that I was making sure. But I was hesitant to scare, so that's why I put little things in there.
Yeah. How does it feel? Like, how does it feel to now being able to, like, it's already done, it's out, right? And now you're looking forward to the next one, right? For aspiring writers or those who are currently, because I feel like a lot of people are really great writers, but then it's also like, you know, the great artist who doesn't want to put their music out, or, you know, the great basketball player who's just playing over there but doesn't want to go play over here, right? Like, do you have advice for people who may be in that, like, they know they got it, and they know they can do it, but there may be something that's keeping them from really executing or attempting? Like, do you have advice for that? Like, did you how to overcome that?
You have to have faith over fear, man. You gotta. Sometimes you're the biggest critic, and then you're the person that will hold you back. Your friends won't hold you back. Your family won't hold you back. It's you. So sometimes you might have to do a self-reflect and be like, hold on, why am I scared? Or why I don't want to put out this music? Why I don't want to say this writing? And sometimes, you know, even putting out a vision board, what you want to see yourself in, or what you want this book or whatever, right? Music. I did like a little like timeline, and I said, nope, the title, first of all, changed like 8 times because I wanted something else. So he was like, nah, bro. But you have to vision yourself. If you put yourself out there and you vision and that's it, and you go do it, you'll be fine. But if you holding yourself back, it's us really holding us back.
We gotta get our own way.
Oh my God. You gotta get out your own head. You gotta, you know, if you like to meditate. You like to go for a walk. But you gotta go do it. I was terrified. When I saw my face, I was scared.
We're all storytellers in our own right. We'll tell ourselves stories, just a bunch of lies and shit. And it's like, you need to stop doing that and just cut all the bullshit out. Or tell yourself one story and and that's the truth, right?
No, totally. And make sure you tell your story your way.
Definitely.
Your friends can't do it. You know, a lot of times you'll have, you know, I had a lot of people who was like, no, you shouldn't be talking about it. It's gonna bring you back. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna talk about it because y'all talking about it. So I'm gonna talk about it. So you gotta also make sure your surroundings.
And sometimes like you said, envisioning, like manifesting, a lot of it's very popular words nowadays, like manifestation and you know, and that type of thing. But I think, man, like it's important to envision yourself. Right? In a different space. Right? You might not be there yet, but you have to visually see it. You have to imagine it. You have to know that you can do this thing. And it's not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed regardless. But the vision is guaranteed, right? The image is guaranteed. You can see it in your brain. Like, you don't need nothing to do that but to think it. Believe
exactly.
It. That's dope.
Totally.
And just putting it down on paper. I feel like, like when you keep it in your head, you kind of stress yourself out a little bit. And then like when you forget something that you're supposed to remember, you kind of stress out even more. And then you're just like, man, you kind of feel like you're losing it a little bit. But when you put it on paper, you're like, man, I just got to follow these steps. Boom. You know, it can happen.
But you guys know it's a known fact, right? It's even biblical.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But you write out what you want. I mean, I don't know the verse exactly, y'all, but you can look it up. But you write out. If you write it out, he will literally make it happen. How we put out in the universe, you put on a piece of paper, or if you're praying or whatever, right? It will come. You know, so that's our thing. That's what I did.
Power in the thoughts.
You know,
That's real. That's real. That's real. I did want to get into what I touched on it earlier about the community wellness circles, and being in positions of mentorship. Do you see yourself kind of going down that route, like more, I guess more permanently in some regards, like being able to be kind of that go-to for people, or do you see yourself getting to that point of being confident enough to be that?
Yeah, I finished my degree in public health.
Okay, congrats.
So thank you. So my biggest thing was to focus in our community, African American, Africans, especially the women and the men, to guide them into not just like the whole better life thing, but to really like bring awareness of healthcare, mental health, education, and put us in like not just a category of just like we're like this or we're only good at basketball, whatever they say.
Yeah.
So it's like I do see myself in just to really help women too, and building that self-esteem. Yeah. The women I sit with, a lot of them are very successful.
Yeah.
But they, you would think you see a strong, they'd be like, oh, I'm a queen, I'm a boss.
Yeah.
But deep down, they're the most saddest person you will meet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like switching it,
Yeah.
and then connecting everybody together.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing.
It's important, man. And I think that's just needed, There's nothing like human connection, especially like intimate, safe spaces, as they like to say now. But it's true, I think safe spaces are really just places where people can. It's an energy thing. I truly believe it's an energy thing. Like, it's about the vibe and people can feel it out. Like we also have a workshop that we created called The World Is Yours, in which we've been doing monthly. And it's similar where we have entrepreneurs and creatives and professionals come into a room. They don't know each other. And it's just talking about your journey and things you're going through, things you need to overcome. And it's amazing when you get into a room where everybody's energy is like-minded. It doesn't matter what's there. Everybody's on the same page. It's amazing what comes out of those conversations.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing. And I don't really, unless you like look it up or you see me part of it, that's how you will know I'm in it. I don't really announce it
for sure.
as much because, I feel like if I'm going to do, good or do the work, I don't need to say it out loud.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you and, be a part of the community like that.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's important. And I just think people need, because it can be done amongst your own people too, right? You don't need to have an organization or a program to do it, So that's dope, man. I love it.
Yeah, I feel like being a counselor and stuff, it's very similar to being a therapist. I feel like it's all the same category, like in a way, like it's therapeutic. Like even you talking about The World Is Yours, the wellness groups, everything. It's like all that stuff is therapeutic, and I'm kind of glad like I'm seeing it like in our community a lot. It's starting to get bigger. You know what I mean? And like that's what we need, and it's just dope.
Different avenues. Yeah. Some people just can't go directly to therapy. In their minds, they're like, I'm not ready for that, but I'll go pull up with some of my homies and get some shit off, right?
It's considered taboo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So like I said, man, whatever, take the steps that you need, baby steps, if that may be, and if it is going to a wellness circle to start off, sometimes that's all it takes. Definitely. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited for all that you got coming. I do kind of want to ask this question. I feel like we ask all our guests this question, but I'm curious. What do you kind of foresee for the future? Like, what is your outlook? Like, are there things that you kind of you're just talking about manifesting, but are there things that you see where you're like, yo, I this is what I want to do, and I want to do this, and I may do that. Like, do you have those type of things?
Yeah, I definitely want to have a series, like a little mini series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, I really want to have that because there's a lot of people that's a part of it, and that could go, and even the outcome of what happened afterwards and who I am now is, I want to thank them too. I kind of want to make a documentary.
Come on.
That's my next. That's actually my next thing.
Yeah.
Volume 2. I want to do a documentary.
I can see that too.
Yeah, that's my big thing right now. I have little script, like little things. Certain people I want to interview. And I want to. That's pretty much it. That's my next thing right now. Volume 2. I want to have a little series, have a documentary, and just make sure, like, everybody, got a platform to speak and bring awareness to a lot of things. And I said, I'm a mom too, so I gotta do that.
That's crazy. I was gonna ask you, like, how do you balance being a mom, being an author, being a counselor, being all like how do you really balance that?
I don't. I'll be real. To be honest, when my oldest, she about to be 15. So she was like, "Oh, you wrote a book?" Because we got a group chat, My family's called Weirdos. Don't ask me why the name of it. That's what it is. Yeah. So it's a group chat. I'm like, "Oh yeah," and then my daughter's like, "So what's the book about?" And I was like, I can't really say much,
Yeah.
So I try to like shelter her, but I know eventually it's gonna come out. So I just do it. I guess. But then you have the community. Like I have good family. And having a 5-year-old running around is cool. Whatever. I think it's just you just gotta wing it. But it is stressful. Yeah, but that's why I set time for myself.
I think that's one thing I realize is that dealing with stress sometimes is a matter of what you're not doing as opposed to what you are doing. And like you said, you got to make time for even the smallest things that bring you joy, and you might see how much stress you thought you had, it probably wasn't that much.
No,
I've realized that for myself.
No, it's true. It's 100% true.
But you do got to set boundaries and make time for those things. That's dope, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for those projects to come, and
for sure.
You got support with us here. We appreciate you being here.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, man. This is dope, man. Now before we do get you out of here, we always ask our guests this question.
My bad.
Oh yeah.
I always do this. I always cut you off.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
But where can they find the book? Where can they find you?
Yeah.
Social media presence.
Online. So Amazon is the book. It'll be on there. It's on there. Should hit Barnes & Nobles in a few months. Instagram, you can find me. I do not have a Facebook. I haven't had one in a long time. I don't even know.
You don't need one.
I don't need one, right? It's all good. People be like, "What's your Facebook?"
Mark Zuckerberg don't got Facebook.
I don't. So on Instagram, you can find me. I think I'll be forgetting my Instagram name, y'all, but it's you can put it.
We'll have it. Well, it'll be in the bios and the descriptions.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. I mean,
And the title of the book is Love, Sex, and Sorrow on Amazon, right?
On Amazon.
Yep. Hell yeah.
That's pretty much it,
Hell yeah.
Just the homie.
Yeah, we do. Plenty more to come. Now, before we get you out here, we always ask this question. So if you can, what is one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up, and why?
Damn. That's gone deep, y'all. What one word? Peace. That's it. I take my peace over anything. Don't give me nothing. But once I know I'm in my peace and I'm good here, and I'm good in the outside, I'm inside peace. I'm like, yep, cool. I can go get up. I get up intentionally at 5 a.m.
5 a.m. club.
To have my time. Of my peace.
Yes.
I do that. I don't start work till 8:30, y'all.
Yeah.
So
No, it's important. It's important.
I gotta take notes, cause
it's a mental thing,
Yeah.
So I do 5 a.m. So that's me. It's peace.
Peace. I
love it.
I love it. Hell yeah, man. Well, we'll take us, like I said, you guys support with us here at the Up and Up. We wish you much success moving forward.
Thank you.
We're excited to see where this journey continues to go. And I think it's safe to say Tigest Beyene is officially a member of the Up and Up. Can we get a round of applause?
Thank you. This was fun.
We hope you enjoyed that episode and that now you have a better understanding of what it means to live life on the up and up.
To continue supporting the podcast and the entire Up and Up movement, be sure to rate, review, like, and subscribe.
As well as follow us at _the Up and Up on all social media platforms to stay connected with everything the Up and Up has coming your way.
Thanks for listening, and until the next one,
keep it on the up and up.